If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Matt Schnell back on the show. He returns to action in a little over 2 weeks' time in Busan, South Korea. Is going to take on Alexandre Pantoja in a huge fight at 125 pounds. Matt, good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, as always. I appreciate you reaching out.
Absolutely. It's great to have you back. There's a lot to discuss here since our last conversation, but I feel like I have to get this out of the way right off the bat. We'll bounce around from here, but we had a very similar conversation about this topic I'm about to bring up prior to your fight with Jordan Espinosa. But yesterday, I'm looking at this card in a couple of weeks' time, and it's a fine card, excellent main event, great co-main event. But I thought there was a mistake looking up and down the card. Then I looked again this morning, and sure enough, it's still there. So my question is, how in God's name is this fight between you and Pantoja on the prelims? How is this even possible?
You know, I'd like to think that they are trying to get me in the American market, and the prelim card is on ESPN, or that's what I'm seeing right now. And if that's the case, then it makes sense to put me on the undercard, because it's going to be about 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, my time, and some people might actually tune in. So if that's the case, I'd like to think that that's what it is. If not, it's an ESPN Plus card. I'm not trying to get too upset about it. They've treated me well here recently. I feel like they know I'm a guy that's upticking, trending upward. So it's hard to say. Korean card, a lot of Korean guys, they get the opportunity to get on better spots in the card, and that's fine.
All right, well said. I mean, maybe I'm just being selfish here. As a media member and a fight fan, but speaking of the Espinosa fight, much like this one in a little over 2 weeks' time, that fight in Newark was a fight that a lot of people had circled as an absolute barn burner, and you sort of expected that yourself when we last spoke. But less than 90 seconds into that fight, it was over after that beautiful triangle choke, and I feel like you sort of touched on, you've been getting on people's radars, but I think that fight sent the mass alert to everybody that Matt Schnell is here and he's a contender. Do you feel that way as well? Do you feel like that performance in particular opened up everybody's eyes?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's certainly gotten me a little more attention. Yeah, I think the Smolka fight should have, because Smolka's a more established name, but Jordan Espinosa, really tough guy who had won a bunch of fights in a row, who had obviously, piqued a lot of people's interests too. So maybe so. Each fight to me feels like the one that's going to get me the breakout. So we'll see what happens. I think this next one will be a big one, and I'm looking forward to it.
It was revealed that heading into that fight in Newark that you and your wife are having a baby. You're welcoming a baby girl into the world in about 3 months from now. Obviously, you can't help but think about that as you're getting ready for a fight. Now the birth is even closer. It's even more real, isn't it? Like 28 weeks down. Now you have a big fight coming up against a top 5 guy. Have you noticed a difference in yourself as a fighter and as a person over these last 6 or 7 months, knowing that you have another member of your family soon about to join you guys?
It's something I think about in my personal time quite a bit, but I can't say that it's been an extra motivating factor. And not to say that it's gotten me motivated in other aspects. We just bought a house, so we had to move things into place there quickly, and we're very happy with how things have gone. But I've never been one who relied on motivation to get up and go in the morning. Anyways, I think Nate Diaz said it best: in a sport where everybody's trying to whip you, it shouldn't be that difficult to get motivated. I'm in the gym, I'm getting prepared, and I'm about to fight Alexandre Pantoja. Really, really tough guy, really gritty kid. So there has been no need for extra motivation. I take a lot of time to myself to think about things to come. I find myself thinking about what my daughter's going to look like quite a bit. But I'm disciplined and always have been, so I've never needed extra motivation. I look forward to my daughter's arrival, and I can't wait. But business as usual.
I know we're mostly talking about the fight here, but being a father myself, I know how great that is. It's the best thing in the world. What are you looking forward to most in regards to being a dad? Like, I know as your Instagram states, you're already a stay-at-home cat dad as it is. Now your responsibilities are going to increase a little bit outside of the fight game. What are you looking forward to the most?
More than anything, I'm just looking forward to raising my daughter, and I expect, just like anything, I'll face my fair share of adversities along the way. There is no real instruction booklet on how to parent, much like on how to fight, and I'm gonna have to figure it out as I go. But I look forward to figuring that out, and getting to know my daughter and raising her and showing her how this world works, and hopefully providing her with the tools to face it. So yeah, I just look forward to everything as a whole. Me and my wife, our relationship has only gotten stronger through this too, and I can't believe that's going to change. I'm going to continue to get closer with my wife.
Absolutely, you definitely will. And congratulations to both of you on all that. But like you said, business is about to go down in a little over 2 weeks' time against the number 4 ranked Alexandre Pantoja. We all knew after the Espinosa win that you were going to be in line for a big fight at 125 pounds. When you found out that Pantoja was going to be the guy and in South Korea to boot, how did you react to that?
It was exciting. I think they actually wanted to try and get us on the Singapore card, was the original plan. But Pantoja wasn't ready to go. He still had some lingering injuries, and so I said, all right, let's do it whenever he can. So this was the day we got, and yeah, I'm satisfied with it, happy about it. Pantoja is one of the best guys in the world. I look up to him. I've always had the utmost respect for him. He was the number 1 seed on The Ultimate Fighter when we were on the show together, and a guy that we all thought was a stud. So it's an honor to be able to get in there and fight this guy, and yeah, I look forward to it. I relish in the opportunity to test myself against somebody like this guy. So let's go.
He's coming off that loss to Davidson Figueiredo at UFC 240. You've been on this massive winning streak. I think this is a great fight. I think this is one of the best on the entire card for sure, like we talked about. What did you make of his performance against Figueiredo back in July?
I think it was a gritty Pantoja-like performance, and Pantoja never out of the fight. Figueiredo was able to get ahead early and kind of stick to his game plan a little bit. Pantoja never went away, kept pressing forward, was there until the last bell sounded. So it didn't go his way that night. When you're fighting at the highest level, sometimes things be like that. It just didn't come together for him. I think he did everything in his power to be ready for that moment, and Figueiredo just was the better man, had a better performance that night. But I'm fully aware of how capable Pantoja is. More than anything, he's a guy that's never out of it. 15 minutes. You got to go out there for 15 minutes and get it done with him. So that's what me and my team are gearing up for. The best Pantoja, a guy who's going to not stop moving forward for 15 minutes, and we'll be ready for it.
There's obviously so much uncertainty going on at 125 right now with Cejudo having the 2 belts. Benavidez is sitting there just waiting patiently, trying to figure out what is going to be next for him. What does a win in 2 weeks do for you? I know you're not looking too far past that, but if you go out there, and you finish a tough guy like Pantoja, do you feel like you can jump, the Formigas and the Figueiredos here, maybe set yourself up for an interim title fight with Benavidez should the company go in that direction? Do you think you can jump those guys?
I think it depends on the performance, and you're absolutely right. I have to focus on the task at hand. I got to go beat Pantoja, but yeah, I'll leapfrog those guys, Formiga and Figueiredo. You better believe it. I'll just hop right by them. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Nobody in their right mind would make the decision to put Figueiredo in there. I mean, he's a scary-looking guy, but come on, I'm the guy. I believe that the division is in good hands as long as I keep winning, and keep performing. And not to say that the other guys can't get it done, they can, but I trust me over them. So I think Benavidez is doing the right thing. I'm not sure what Henry's going to do. Dude needs to get it together, and I understand that he's coming back from an injury. It looks like he's back in the gym, though, here recently, so that's a good thing. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, go beat Pantoja. Got to believe I'm in the mix, and it needs to be a good performance. needs to be a good performance. If I go out there and it's a contentious decision, it's going to be hard to come out and clamor for a title shot. But yeah, if I'm able to get it done decisively, I'll be the mouthpiece for that, I assure you.
How do you see this all going down? Like, I know you're not typically, a guy that's going to say, I'm going to go out there and finish him in the first round. I'm going to knock him out in 90 seconds. Like, you're not that kind of a guy, at least from our past conversations. But what's sort of the constant vision you have when you think about this fight?
I think I'm just going to be a little too fast, a little too smooth, a little too long. And Pantoja's never been finished. He's never been finished, but I'm one of the best finishers in the world, and I can get on top of anybody, and I can have a quick start against anybody. So, and much like Pantoja, for 15 minutes, you better believe it. At any point, I can spark you. At any point, I can find your neck. So I'm in a fight for 15 minutes too, and it doesn't just have to be a first-round finish. I know I've only shown a lot of first-round finishes, but I can get it done late. So 15 minutes, you got to come in focused. I see me winning this fight, of course.
Oh, I didn't think you'd go the other way with that. But when will you head out to South Korea?
Sunday, December 15th. I'm out of here.
There you go. I want to end with this because, one of the things I truly respect about you, Matt, is that you're someone who likes to give shine to guys outside of the organization. Like, even someone in your own division that could be a potential opponent of yours. Like, I spoke to Brandon Royval last week after his big win at LFA 79 when he won the flyweight title and he broke the fastest submission record. And he said one of the reasons that he should get that UFC call is because he's approved by his peers, and he named you specifically as someone who went on social media, sang his praises, and said the UFC needs to sign this kid. And I thought that was a really cool thing that you did. You don't see a lot of fighters outside of teammates do things like that. You went out there and did it. Why did you do that? And what about Brandon gets the sort of danger stamp, so to speak?
Well, Brandon reminds me a lot of me at that stage. I mean, he's doing some exciting things. He's a fun fighter to watch. I also look at the state of my division, and I want the UFC to have their hands in the latest upcoming talent. So I just thought it'd be a good idea to put my stamp of approval on it, if you want to call it that. I need guys in this division to beat up, to be perfectly honest, and Brandon Royval, really good fighter. I don't look for guys that I want them to bring guys into the UFC who are going to stick around. I see Royval as one of those guys who has the skill set. He's got the look. He's got the fight in him. He goes out there and fights much like I think I fight. I go out there and try and set it on fire. So I recognize that a little bit. And it's not just Brandon. There's still Dustin Ortiz out there. There's still the Jared Scoggins, who Brandon was supposed to fight. Jared Brooks, Justin Scoggins. There's a whole slew of incredible 125-pound fighters out there. And I want these guys to know that there's still a division out here. I saw recently that Ray Borg is coming back to flyweight. You're damn right. Come on back. All these guys that fled up north because they didn't think there was going to be a division anymore, it's time to come back. I need guys to beat up. We need a division. And if there's going to be a division, we need guys signed to it. So, yeah, I certainly didn't do it to virtue signal or have you ask this question in this interview. I keep my finger on the pulse, and I watch everybody coming up. I've got my eye on every flyweight out there. I've seen you. And when you get to the UFC, I'm not going to be surprised by anybody. So, go get it, Brandon Royval. I'm rooting for you, champ.
I love that, man. And we look forward to seeing this fight between you and Alexandre Pantoja December 21st in Busan, South Korea. Matt, always a pleasure. Thank you for the time. I'm excited for this fight. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, any shout outs, anything else you want to get off your chest. The floor is yours.
Yeah, you can follow me at Danger_Cage. That's on Instagram and Twitter. Matt Danger Schnell. That's Facebook fan page. I just like to say that I've got all the respect in the world for everybody in this division, but we got to continue to go out there and toe the line. I know people say that Henry has saved this division. Doesn't look like he saved much to me. I still feel unsure about things. So by my estimation, me and Pantoja, we're going to save the division. Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno, they're going to save the division. The guys that are getting out there and fighting and scrapping and putting it on the line, they're the ones saving the division. And yeah, keep that in mind. And everybody better start recognizing and pay attention. It's going to get fun around here, I promise.
I love it. You got me all fired up, Matt. All the best to you for the fight and to you and your wife on the upcoming birth of your baby girl. It's the greatest thing in the world. And, you know, if you think you're excited now, wait until you see that baby for the first time, man. It's a feeling that cannot be matched. I can assure you of that. Thank you again, man.
Thanks, Mike.